Hello, friends, and welcome to the DLLS Cowboys podcast. We're fresh off a loss. The path to the playoffs still exists. But what's going on with George Pickens? Let's go through all the things. Let's do it. Meow. What's up, everybody? Welcome into the DLLS Cowboys podcast. It's good to be with you on whatever day of the week this is. My days get jacked up when they play on weird days, and I don't even know. I'm also trying to buy a hat right now, so I'm not going to be the smoothest operator right here in the first segment of the broadcast day. Is that good?
It's good. Those hats are nice.
If I just stumble into the first segment and don't do a good show, is that good? I don't want that one. I want the Dallas one. There it is. Bang. We got some new hats. We got hats, baby, for DLLS. I'm getting the beige one, which is the left from the hat's perspective, the right from your perspective. That's the one that I'm getting after right now. It's going to be good.
The beige one. It looks like a Cadillac. It looks like a car signal, like your little Cadillac hats.
I like it looks like a Cadillac. I like that. Hat. Check out. What's our discount code? Don't say it out loud. Okay. Welcome in, everybody. Let's talk Dallas Cowboys football. My name is Jeff. Can I give you something messy? I'll do it. And I'm next to the greatest beat writer in the history of the Dallas Cowboys, Mr. Clarence Hill.
Micah Parsons sucks.
It's a weird take that he's got, but he's been going with it a lot.
I think Ali got me in trouble because he tweeted something from the DLS account about Micah Parsons, the Cowboys missing Micah Parsons. And I liked it, and people would think that I was high-fiving myself, like I posted it.
You guys really think Clarence, like if we had a Facebook account, yes, Clarence would be running it. Clarence is not running a Twitter account.
Listen, I tweet a lot, but they won't let me loose on that Twitter account.
No, because it's a bad idea.
They might not like all the things I tweet.
I was explicitly told I was not allowed to give Clarence the password for the Twitter account.
Wow.
It's just not.
You might be logged into you might think you're on your own account. You might retweet something. That's the issue.
Listen,
What? It's okay. It's okay.
We're going to get DLS Cowboys quote tweeting Halle Berry photos if we...
Is that what y'all worried about? They ain't worried about the politics. It's Halle Berry photos. Hey, shout out to Amon for being here first, man. Appreciate you.
You tweet about politics?
I don't know. I don't know. It might be something like that.
Welcome in, people. It's very good to see you guys. Smash the like button on your way in as we work our way through the last 4 weeks of the Cowboys season. Clarence,
then when we start, then we got to start draft talk.
You ready for draft talk, or are we waiting for one more?
Are you dedicating the show to anybody today?
Oh, let me take a peek. I told you I was scrambled up, but you see I got it ordered. I got my hat ordered.
See?
My discount code wasn't working over the weekend. It's working now. I'm going to dedicate today's performance on the show. Let's see. Nicki Minaj is a candidate.
No.
No? Okay. I'm going to keep scrolling. Dwight Howard's a candidate.
Superman. Fake Superman.
Jim Morrison. Terry Hatcher. Wendell Pierce. Oh, I love Wendell Pierce.
We love Wendell
Pierce.
Yeah,
I'm going to dedicate today's performance to Wendell Pierce, so I'll try not to let people down as we work our way through the show. We're going to talk about George Pickens right off the top. We're going to talk about the Cowboys defense and Eberflus in the second segment. We're going to talk to Mike Doocy of Fox 4 in the third segment. And then we're going to take questions from the Diehard. So if you are a Diehard, hop in our Discord, hop in the Cowboys channel, and throw some thangs in there, okay? Carrie's in the Super Chat to get us started on our George Pickens content of the day. Chill, is GP still barbecue chicken, or is he spoiled chicken after that game? Thank you, Carrie, for getting us started.
I'm glad you got us started because this is the problem with our microwave society, our microwave daily newspaper, daily radio show.
Well, you mean 3 weeks ago he was the best receiver in the NFL and CeeDee Lamb sucked?
What happened Thursday does not take away from what he did the first 11 games of the season.
Yeah.
He was great the first 11. Can we acknowledge he was great the first 11 games of the season?
Yeah, I don't think that's hard.
Can we acknowledge that something was amiss against Detroit. That doesn't mean that he wasn't great. Doesn't mean that we don't like him. We can acknowledge that something was amiss.
Well, I think the hard part in sports, Clarence, is you have to lead with a strong opinion, according to some. You have to lead with a strong opinion, which means your strong opinion has to be that CeeDee Lamb's the best receiver on the Cowboys. So now you've just accidentally had a strong opinion about CeeDee Lamb not being as good as George Pickens. Then, if George has an off game, you have to then say he is a locker room problem. He does not try his hardest, and you can't pay him. And then next week, if he has a good game, we can switch it back up.
Right, but the problem here is that haters. Now we're just hating on him. See, there's just so much take. Y'all were hating on CD, now y'all hating on George. Nobody was hating on CD. Yeah. He dropped passes.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
That's something that he did.
He did that. Yeah, and you're allowed to, yeah.
And you pointed out, now you're hating on it.
No, see, I think what we have to do is just make sure that the people know that there is one place for objective Cowboys talk, and it's right here.
It is objective, but we don't have an agenda. But we're not sunshine pumpers. That's not going to give you the Jerry line of whatever. We're not doing that. We're going to keep it real. And George Pickens, no one's hating on Pickens. And you can talk about he had bad body language. He was disinterested or not. And Schotty is he loves the game of football. Yes, he loves the game of football. He played with a certain amount of joy. Did he play with joy Thursday night? If we're going to go by what he looks like on the field, and we looked at the joy and the passion and the attitude that we've seen against the Eagles and the Chiefs and the preening, did he do that Thursday night? Can we acknowledge that something was amiss against Detroit? Something was missing against Detroit that was not there in the previous week when he played with the joy and love and passion like a kid, with those silver teeth. He didn't have that silver teeth energy against Detroit. There's nothing wrong with saying that. Yes, he was doubled. Yes, he was bracketed. But when the balls that came to him, he was not doing the things that we've come to expect him to do, that everybody loved about him. That shiesty energy.
Yeah. Yeah, now you might get the other shiesty energy. I'll keep talking. Richard Sherman went after him in the post. Make sure you get your Stay Shiesty shirt. Or maybe you've switched teams again and you want the 88 Club shirt. You can go either direction with that. Or maybe you just want the straight-up Dallas Skyline, DLLS. Maybe that's the one you want. I don't know. But when you sign up to be a diehard, you can get one of those things for free. Yeah, I think sports is I hate the way most people talk about sports. That's why I don't ingest most of the things about sports, because now it's turned into hard opinions and debate shows and all that, and I kind of hate it. I would acknowledge that there might have been something off with George Pickens in that game, but even even the where is the woo-woo, I think the answer to that is he does that after he makes plays.
Right.
If he's not making plays, I don't know when you would expect to see the celebratory kind of junk talking swag. Like, you get that after you catch a ball for 25 yards. You get that after you break a tackle. And yeah, when CeeDee Lamb left the game, George Pickens then got man coverage with the safety over top of George Pickens. And that doesn't mean you can't make any plays. It means that it's going to make it harder. And I do think, and this is for no reason I'm doing this, it's just, I guess, for the people who had their doubts about CeeDee not long ago. CeeDee saw that coverage every day of his life to the tune of 1,700 yards at one point. So you have incredible football players, right? And yeah, that was a weird game for George. And I think we can acknowledge that you can have an alarm bell go off for a lot of things, little things with George Pickens, right? Because the people who knew him best in the NFL thought they would much rather trade for a different guy that plays kind of like him and give him money, an older guy, than have him on the football team. So I think all of that can exist, and you can go, yeah, I think the Cowboys are going to end up in a weird spot when he ends up with 1,400 yards and 10, 12 touchdowns. And if you have 2 more games like this or a couple more Instagram posts, they're going to end up in a wonky spot. He's an incredible player, and he's different. Oh, yeah, is that the –
I just realized I didn't censor it. So.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah.
I cannot put that up.
Do you have the video from the analyst I sent, or you didn't put?
What are you talking about?
Don't worry about it.
Well, Alex Smith.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
And that's true too. But we don't have to. So Alex Smith's thing was like Ryan Flanoy went over 100 yards.
Because, he also said that CD was open because they were worried about Pickens. CD had all the single coverage. That's what he said.
That's fine.
That's what he said.
Yeah, that's fine.
So we're going to take what he said about Flanoy. He also said that.
That's fine.
They worried about Pickens more than they worried about CD. That's why CD was open.
Yeah, that's fine. That's true too. Your best players draw attention and help other players be better. Quinnen Williams is good for Oso Odigizua. Quinnen Williams is good for Kenny Clark. CeeDee Lamb is good for George Pickens. George Pickens is good for CeeDee Lamb. They're both great for Ryan Flanoy and Jake Ferguson. It doesn't make other stuff untrue. George is different. George is weird, and we're going to have weird, different moments. The question is he good enough that you still have no doubt that you want to pay him and keep him around because he can help you win a Super Bowl? And I'm fairly certain my answer is absolutely.
And that's the issue. And that is the issue because it's not just about that one game. It's about, is this a guy you want to pay? And there was no doubt about it before. Now, are we seeing something? Is this a red flag to say, do you want to pay this guy?
Can I tell you the door it opens for me?
What?
Are you saying I could tag him and trade him for a guy that's equally talented at a different position? Can we redistribute? Because I do love I think teams who have something that there's just not really much you can do about it, I want that on my team. Whether it's your run game, whether it's your offensive weapons, whether it's you have the best defensive football. If you can be overwhelming at something, I think that's a giant advantage. But I'd be lying if a little part of my brain wasn't like, well, could you tag and trade him for a all-pro corner or for a Pro Bowl-ish type of corner?
Miss Linnell, you got, we're going to talk about all the things we need to talk about.
No,
okay?
see, that's the
thing. We're not hating on Pickens.
Those are the kind of things it's hard.
We're not saying we shouldn't pay him. We're saying these are questions that are going to come up with Jerry Jones. Okay?
No, this is what the internet has done to people and what modern sports talk has done to people. We haven't said a bad thing about George Pickens.
No, we have not.
We have not had a negative thought, words about Pickens. We haven't said they shouldn't pay Pickens.
No.
But if you just don't express exactly what someone else is thinking, boy, you are just hating. And that's just a dumbass world we live in 2025.
But it's something that's going to come up when you're paying somebody. And again, Pickens, if you're he's going to want $35 million. Let's be honest. That's all $30 million. CD, I was talking to somebody the other day. Well, you can't pay Pickens more than CD. Why not? CD got paid 2 years ago. Okay?
Yeah.
If CD was on the market now, if Justin Jefferson's on the market now because of what the market is, they'd be getting $40 million.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. It's 2 years later. The idea that you can't pay Pickens more than CD, yes, you can because that's what the market will bear. Pickens is going to want $35 million, not $30 million.
Yeah.
Okay? That's what the market is. And we're talking about that type of money after already paying CD, after already paying Dak. Jerry's going to come. Listen, Jerry's saying all the right things now. It's funny that Jerry on Friday talking about, be careful now. He has a temperament. What are you scared of the temperament for? Okay? But I remember.
Of George?
Yes, he said that.
Because you should be.
Why? Why is the temperament an issue?
I think Jerry doesn't want to talk about it because he views it as a sensitive subject because of the first 3 years of George Pickens' career.
Okay, then Jerry's
that's what came with him to Dallas.
Right.
Well, he's trying to say, I would be careful going. Like he said something along the lines of, I'd be careful. I wouldn't go there, or I'd be careful going there. Because what he's saying is, maybe it looked like there was an effort situation a little bit, but I don't want to take it there because I don't want that to be a big story. I just want him to go play football.
So this is Pickens' first foray with being under the spotlight of being a Cowboys player.
Yeah.
He came here, all the negative in Pittsburgh, but it wasn't national negativity, okay? He wasn't first take. It wasn't, Richard Sherman. It wasn't what he's getting in Dallas. And he got all the love, the shiesty. We got shirts, we got hats, we got everything. Yeah. Love him to death.
Put him out at the right time, too, right before the down game.
But when things go awry, as Dak will tell you, it goes the other way quickly, and people will point out stuff and hype because you're on TV, because all of this stuff. And so this is a challenge, and Schotty said he talked to him, and I know he was asked in the press conference today, this is his first time having negativity under the Cowboy spotlight.
Yep.
And it's different, which is why he put out the tweet against Sherman. Richard Sherman, he had the tweet against, and Richard Sherman's all pro corner. He has the right to say what he wants. I mean, it's not like Sherman wasn't trash.
Pickens could tell him to line up, come get some.
All of that, but that it comes with the game. It comes with the dinner with being a Cowboys player. And certainly when you are getting ready or asking for that type of money, these questions will be asked.
Let's knock out a super chat or two before we hop on over to the defense. Captain Thunder is in the super chat. Only my dear friend Clarence is objective now. Jeff, your hatred for Mr. Jones must stop. I love Jerry Jones, the owner. He's the best owner in sports. Clouds your judgment. Shame on you. Kudos, Mr. Jones, for gutsy moves plus a 7-1 run. We'll make the playoffs. Be objective. Objectively speaking, you have like a 2% chance to make the playoffs. But I'm with you, Captain Thunder. Let's just go make it.
If they go 10-6-1, we'll like the chance.
The truth is in the super chat. Can you guys please tell me who Kenneth Murray has pictures of? There's no reason he should see the field. We'll answer that question and everything else about the defense next on the DLLS Cowboys podcast. Hello, friends. Let's talk about holiday shopping. I'm a last-minute guy. You end up waiting. The people I'm closest to, I don't know what to get them because I'm like, I don't know. I think they already bought the stuff that they want. So you get a gift card, and that's lazy. Don't do that. Aura Frames is who you need to hit up. Aura Frames is absolutely incredible. What it is it's a frame, and you can preload in before you even gift it. You can preload pictures or videos or whatever you want to do. You can add things whenever you want. The person you gift them to can add things whenever you want. You just connect to the Wi-Fi. You get hooked up. Isn't that better than $7 at Golden Corral or whatever you were going to do? Aura Frames is an absolutely incredible gift. Now is the time for it. If there's somebody you just can't think, what am I going to do? Aura Frames. And preload it with your face. Just like that. For a limited time, save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off Aura's best-selling Carver mat frames, named #1 by Wirecutter. By using the promo code DLLS at checkout, that's auraframes.com, promo code DLLS. Deals exclusive to our listeners, and the frames do sell out fast, so order yours now to get it in time for the holidays. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply. Also, want to shout out my friends at Branded Bills. You see me rocking this cap all the time. We got some brand new DLLS Branded Bills caps that were soft launching today or launching. Look, just go get them because I'm getting them. And if you don't get them quick, I'm going to get all of them. Branded Bills is great. I love their hats. They don't just do hats, but if you want a snapback, they got some really good ones. They got city-themed ones. They got all sorts of good stuff. Fitted hats, beanies, T-shirts. I've got some of their T-shirts too, and they're great. So if you're looking for gear that makes your brand stand apart, how about that? They can help you out with custom headwear. You start your order, and their team's going to help you create the exact custom thing you need. And they have a partnership with 40 colleges as part of their campus collection. That's TCU, Tech, Texas. They're all in there. So head on over and see our friends at brandedbills.com, and the code you need, BBDLLS, and that is going to get you 15% off your first order. All right, let's talk about the Cowboys defense here on the DLLS Cowboys podcast. We have many things to go over, Clarence Hill. Many very important topics of conversation. Smash the like button while you're here. Sure, we'd like to get to 174 by the time this show ends. We would appreciate that. Eberflus versus players in terms of what is the biggest issue. Schotty now has to talk about Kenneth Murray. I want to apologize to the people for something. That's not my fault. I just want to apologize. Let me just get that knocked out real quick. I'm sorry that I was 13 weeks ahead on Kenneth Murray. Now the whole world's there.
No, you were.
I remember when I was a hater. I remember when I was a hater when they traded for him.
You talked about this in the offseason.
He's had an entire rookie contract as a first-round pick to prove he can play NFL football, and he never proved it. Yeah. And yet the Cowboys traded for him, absorbed a pretty good salary for a guy that another team was desperate to be rid of and shocked anyone would give him anything. And then I was a hater for a while, and now the world has caught up that you have at least one spot on this team where that guy is it's a big issue on the defense. And now that you also traded for a guy, that would seem like you acknowledged it was a problem because you traded another late-round pick for another middle linebacker who still doesn't play more snaps than him. And just where are you with what's going on at linebacker, with whether it's Flus, whether it's personnel, all of the defensive things?
Well, you look at the snap percent. When Logan Wilson showed up, he played more than Kenneth Murray. And then they said, maybe there's a reason why Logan Wilson was a backup in Cincinnati. And that was always the red flag, okay? Logan Wilson was on the bench for the only defense in the league that was worse than the Cowboys.
That's tough, yeah.
The only defense in the league that was worse than the Cowboys couldn't get on the field. And the Cowboys traded for him thinking that he was going to improve the Cowboys' defense.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of hype behind it because Jerry was highlighting before that the linebacker play and they weren't filling gaps. And the common sense said, well, you traded for Logan Wilson. He's going to fix the linebacker play. Fix the linebacker play. He's going to fill those holes. He and Overshown was going to come back and fix the linebacker play. Overshown has played. He's been out there as a starter from, ever since he's, been cleared. Logan Wilson, they're not playing. Not as much as people thought and hoped. That means more snaps for Kenneth Murray, formerly known as K9.
Yep.
And he continues to get exposed.
And what has Schotty said something like, because he's now being asked about individual players because the world has caught up to like, oh, this is really hurting you guys. What's going on? And he praised the physicality.
Well, he talked about the traits, and he's talked about we want Murray on the field because of his physicality, and Logan has the ability to dissect things, so that means he's slow.
He made it racial. He made it racial, didn't he?
But he can dissect things. But of course, he's gonna dissect them enough to get on the field more than Murray.
So I guess this is I don't know if it's Matt Eberflus. I don't know if it's Jerry Jones in the front office. I'll throw Will McClay in. I don't know the exact reasoning behind this, but what they're doing with him is the exact same thing you do when you draft someone. To talk about someone's traits and the things that you do like, despite the fact that they don't perform, but it's like, yeah, but he's got this physicality about him, or he's got this whatever trait you want to talk about. It's been 4 years. You don't get to talk about traits anymore.
No.
You get to talk about, can you do this job? And the answer is no. And do I think Logan Wilson would be way better? Actually, kind of.
We don't know that though.
But I'm trying to go from the worst, maybe in the league, to not good. Not good would be a good step up, we went from pooty poo.
But I'm just saying that the Cowboys are watching Logan in practice.
Yeah,
and they've seen him on tape.
I know.
And they're choosing not to put him on the field. They're just not that dumb.
Okay, well, let me just say this. Stop throwing away late round picks for no reason.
But it's not just Logan. Let's talk about Leofau. He's in his third year.
I don't.
Let's talk about he was a third round pick.
I don't think he's a player. Leofau is a really good special teamer, and if you have a real clean runway versus a running back, he will destroy that guy. But same, where it's like diagnosing, being able to play in coverage. I just think the linebackers they don't have it.
Yeah, and go back down a little bit, John, for me, please, because this is what happens. Right? Overshown ain't the same dude. Okay, so now Overshown's getting some of this, and as
fine.
I said,
I think that's fine.
That's fine.
That's fine.
But as I said, and I said this, and I got cussed out for it and called out for it in the spring. It's going to be hard for him to come back and be the same guy.
Yeah.
And all the expectations of being the same guy after these injuries. He will be better next year than this year. Say the same thing about Rebel. And everybody got mad, okay? Yeah. You're coming off these knee injuries. You're not going to immediately be an impact type guy, right? Now, and I said before he signed up, they're setting Overshown up to be Superman. And he's going to have to come back. Can't wait till Overshown gets back. He's coming off these surgeries, coming off these knee injuries, and they expect it to be Lawrence Taylor and Reggie White and all these people all wrapped up into one because he's going to come save the defense. Well, he hasn't saved the defense.
No.
And now Overshown ain't the same player. Well, duh. He's not going to be the same player. Yes, he's healthy. Just because you're cleared, you still have to get back into football shape, doing football things. That doesn't mean he won't be at some point.
No, and there's still, I think watching him so far this year, there's still the promise, and I guess I'm going to do what I just said you can't do anymore. But what I was hoping he would get back, it looks like it's probably still in there. We haven't seen the same giant explosive
what's
plays.
Also true, how is he being used? he is not being used to go after the quarterback. He's not being used to blitz. The defensive coordinator does not blitz. Overshawn is a guy that moves forward. He goes sideline to sideline. But one of his Superman traits is getting out to the quarterback.
Oh, see, now you're opening another door.
They don't use him the way he should be used.
I'm going to walk through that door in 30 seconds. Because I think I mentioned this Friday. I think, so for the last month of the season, to me, is really, really important for Overshown and for us and for the fan base. Because all I need is to see steady improvement to feel fine. I actually don't think he was terrible against Detroit.
He's not.
And so just to reaffirm and make people feel good that at least at one of the linebacker spots, you've still got a dude. I would like to be able to see and feel that over the next month. Now to your next point of not using people in the right way. But now we get to Matt Eberflus. I like to fidget.
And the scary part is that the defense improves is going to give Jerry, maybe I can keep him. Maybe we shouldn't change defense coordinator this year and this year because they got 3 straight years. And if it changes again, it's going to be 4 straight years. Then that's going to be an excuse. But Matt Eberflus needs to be addressed.
I agree. I think so for sure. Because it's not, and that's not just an Overshown thing where I think they are caught between so many different ideas that it just doesn't go together. And I think that can be a Cowboys organizational thing at times. So they traded for, they didn't plan to trade for Quinnen Williams after they had traded for Kenny Clark. They traded for Kenny Clark and then sold you a bill of goods on what he was that was never true. And then when that wasn't nearly enough to make your defense decent, they then went and traded for another guy that they tried to get before they got Kenny Clark. But you got Kenny, and it was like, well, that's the one we got, and that's the team that would give us the first-round picks and the player, and so we're fixed. Then they had to go get Quinnen Williams. Now 3 defensive tackles are 3 of your best defensive players, and you're trying to figure out a way to get them on the field. So now you like to play a 5-man front as much as you can. But you also want to play zone defense because that's what Eberflus likes to do. Your corners don't really fit with that. Playing more and more guys in the box makes it so that you probably should be playing man defense if you're planning to send more people, but you're not doing that. I think that nothing that they do is really seems like it's in alignment. Okay, we're going to do this. Great. Schotty talked about Savone Revel today. And I think the question must have been something along the lines of he didn't have a great game because Schotty was talking about Savone Revel's confidence and where he's like, oh, no. That guy's fine. He's fine. He's a guy that, we've got him off and he's like, man, I want to get up there. His confidence isn't shaken. But the way that he was saying it, I was like, do you realize you're also talking about how you're misusing him while you're trying to just defend him and say he'll be fine? You're talking about what he would like to do and what he's good at and pretty much the only thing he's ever done in his life. And your team doesn't do it. Trayvon Diggs may be back this week, which would give you Savone Revel, Deron Bland, and Trayvon Diggs, 3 guys who want to stand right in front of somebody, put hands on them, and play man defense. Savone Revel's maybe played 20 snaps of zone in his entire life. Trayvon Diggs is not a good zone player. Bland's probably a better man player too. You want to have all these guys up front? Fine. Trust your corners. Let them do what they do. Now at least our math is adding up. I don't know what their plan is.
Well, and the thing about it is because I was at the coaches last week. I tried to ask Flus about adjusting to the players and not being so stubborn to his scheme.
Right.
And how we always adjust to the players. Why the hell did you not blitz Goff? Why? I mean, the thing that
and it
if
worked.
Goff
early.
has time, he's going to hit his guys. You want him uncomfortable. They did not blitz Goff. Okay, That means you did not use Overshown in the way it can be used. That means that you can't get there with 4-man because the pass rush is a problem. It remains a problem ever since you got rid of Micah Parsons.
Don't say that.
I know allowed. I can't say that.
It's not allowed.
Micah Parsons sucks.
He's a choke artist. He's a bad run defender.
Somebody was tweeting at me yesterday. What has Micah Parsons done today? Did Green Bay win the game?
He demanded a trade. Oh, did you? This is so dumb. Cowboy fans don't want to hear this. So Micah Parsons was a freaking terror yesterday. And on one play, they had a lot of fun. They lined him up with like 5 across.
Right.
And then they dropped Parsons because it was 3rd down.
Right.
3 people blocked no one because they were waiting for Parsons. 3 of the 5 linemen blocked no one, and they had 3 dudes with a free run.
But our trusted stat watch. See, Parsons didn't have a sack. He had no impact. I mean, it's just stupid.
Don't worry about it.
And you know, and yes, you could have had Parsons and Quentin Williams. I know you talked about that last week.
Yeah, you can have both.
But again, it's that's the thing about when the Cowboys don't have success. Everybody gets dirty. Okay, all the guys we like. Yeah. You know, we like Pickens, but when they lose, everybody get dirty. Okay, we like Overshawn, and we can blame Flus, but when they lose and don't make plays, it's not just K9 who getting dirty. Overshawn getting dirty. He gonna get some of that. Yeah. Okay, Rebel gonna get some of that. Yeah. That's part of it. That could come with it. Everybody, spotlight's on everybody.
There's Jerry's in the chat there. Micah got out. He wanted out. He got what he wanted. That's Jerry in the chat, I believe.
Everybody gets dirty.
Coming up next on the DLLS Cowboys podcast, let's check in with our buddy Mike Doocy, Fox 4 sports anchor, the host of Free for All. He joins the show next. All right, let's talk about our homies at Shopify. You got an idea out there? Maybe you're like me and you were thinking about making a Team Tank hat. You know, you got this idea, but you don't have anything but the idea. Our friends at Shopify can take care of you. That's who powers the DLLS merch store. And that's kind of what they do. It's the e-commerce platform that's behind millions of businesses around the world. 10% of all e-commerce in the U.S. is due to our friends at Shopify. And they got you covered. Website creation, product descriptions, email, social media marketing, and more. They got AI tools that can help you maximize sales. If you're ready to sell something, anything, you're ready for our friends at Shopify. Turn your big business idea into cha-ching with Shopify on your side. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/allcity. That's shopify.com/allcity. Cha-ching! Hit up Shopify. They're our friends. They're the best. Also, shout out to our friends at Prize Picks. You guys know me by this point. I do Prize Picks a lot. I love the Prize Picks. All you got to do is say, hey, this player, I think he's going to have more or less than this projected stat this week. In football, you can do rushing yards. You can do carries. You can do passing yards. You can do touchdowns. You can do all sorts of things, right? So you pick your favorite player and you say, hey, I think he's going to have more or less than that projected stat. Or you do some straight hating like I do with the Eagles a lot. And you pick all their guys to have less than. Doesn't always win, but it feels good to make that pick for me. That's our friends at Prize Picks. Maybe, do you think Pickens has crashed out? You want to go less? Or do you think he's about to go ham? Go more. You combine all those different picks, and then you can win money. That's how you do it on Prize Picks. It's a great place to do it. There's not a must be here. Download the app today. Use the code DLLS, and you get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code DLLS. Get you $50 in lineups after you play that first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. Welcome back, friends. It's the DLS Cowboys podcast. Can I catch up on the Super Chats, and then we'll pop over to Deuce? Just want to get those caught up. Williams in the Super Chat. Pickens is the type of player who needs positive reinforcement. It also seems that CD provides him support, and when he's not around, George loses focuses. Pickens had some really good games without CeeDee Lamb. I think they just happened to have a game where he wasn't making plays early, and then body language isn't ideal, and then now you're doubled, and CeeDee's not out here anymore, and just when things don't go well, different people react differently to it, and Pickens has a history of not necessarily responding the best to that. Carries in the Super Chat. All I'm saying, chill. There isn't a 3 shirt. Oh, there's a Shiesty shirt. Selvin's in the Super Chat. Eagles hate watch tonight. Jeff, cancel Peacock. Thank you. I tweeted last night to have somebody remind me to cancel Peacock, so because I had to buy Peacock free trial to watch football last night. And 3 people did tweet me this morning, and 1 is now super chatted. I thank you guys for helping me take care of business there. All right, let's check in with our buddy Mike Doocy from Fox 4, sports anchor. He's also the host of Free for All and a handsome man. Deuce, how you doing, brother?
Jeff, how you doing? Clarence, good to see you.
The most famous Doocy on TV.
Doocy.
Clarence was there at the news conference. Clarence was there at the Cowboys news conference, the Schottenheimer news conference a couple of weeks ago, when the Cowboys PR man called on me to ask a question and called me Peter, right? Because clearly he watches Fox News Channel and referred to me as Peter Doocy. So I got to stay here another 30 years before they get my name right out there.
In Dallas, right?
Wait, I have a question for you that's just very random. Did Clarence ask you to say that because he views that as taking a shot at Tad? Because I know Clarence and Tad, the Cowboys PR guy, are worst enemies and frenemies.
No, I'm not taking it. Clarence did not prompt me to say that. But Clarence was the first one to pipe up, to speak up in the room from his spot in the front row, talking about, the most famous Doocy, the most famous Doocy. So what are the odds that three people with the last name of Doocy would all three work for the same media company, and I would be the only one who's been unable to get out of the local Fox station to the national? But I'll take it. It's been all right.
But we love you in Dallas. We love you in Dallas. How long have you been here? When did you get here?
I got in March of '94.
Okay.
March of '94. So 31.
Oh, so you have a
now.
Super Bowl?
Yeah,
Clarence doesn't have a Super Bowl.
Yeah, we were CBS when I was hired. Channel 4. Clarence will remember this growing up here.
Yes.
Channel 4 was always a CBS station. So I was hired in March of '94 out of Cedar Rapids, Iowa, to come down here as the main guy, the weeknight guy at Channel 4. And I was going to host, we had the coaches show then, the Cowboys contract. So I was going to host the Jimmy Johnson show. And 3 weeks later, that all blew up. And then 6 months later, it was announced we were going to become Fox. I'm like, oh my God, it's crazy. But it's the whole Fox thing has worked out pretty well sports-wise for us too.
Doocy, the George Pickens adventure has been, well, an adventure, I guess. It wasn't an adventure until this week, really. It was just a lot of fun. But from the day they trade for a guy with what everybody in Pittsburgh would say about George Pickens, to the ascension and all the greatness, to what's going on right now with him seeing what the spotlight's like when things don't go great as a Dallas Cowboy. What's just been your reaction to watching the full George Pickens experience so far?
It's overwhelmingly positive, obviously, for the Cowboys. I think it's easy to overreact, given the way he responded to the Richard Sherman comments. And, I think it's a bad look on his part. I think anytime these guys lash out at the media, it's never going to work out well, or it's rarely going to work out well for them. But I think it's unfair to just suddenly paint him as Pittsburgh Pickens now. And okay, here we go. Because people are waiting for that side, so to speak, to come out. I think the fact that it happened after one bad game and one, in my opinion, ill-advised response, I think it's unfair to judge him based on that. Now, it will be interesting to see where he goes from here, right? And if he can bounce back in this next game and look like a guy who, to paraphrase Richard Sherman, looks a little more interested in being out there. But I don't know how and I know you guys have talked a lot about this. I've always had a hard time criticizing a guy for lack of effort. And Richard Sherman was basically calling him lazy. And, Richard Sherman's qualified, I guess, to make those kind of comments because he's been on the other side of that, of guys on the field all those times and up close to them. To me, I never know. I sometimes don't know whether to distinguish it as lack of effort or lack of execution, because I think those things kind of carry over into one another. If George Pickens is a guy, just to try to be fair to him for a second, who even on his best days doesn't always look explosive coming off the line of scrimmage. You know what I mean? It's just kind of the way he runs. It's the way he moves. It's at the time that the ball gets there, that's where, he works his magic. So were there times he didn't come back to the ball the way he should have? Absolutely. I think if you listen back to Dak's comments right after the game, you could tell how disappointed Dak Prescott was in the way that George Pickens was running his routes and maybe giving up on some routes too. But I'm not going to go crazy after one bad performance or one bad performance that lingered into the day after with the way he responded to Richard Sherman.
Well, Doocy, it's never always about the one performance or one game. There was so much talk about paying Pickens. And where do you side with all of this? And I know we can't paint him as Pittsburgh Pickens, but the reputation, it takes a long time for you to get rid of the reputation. And should the Cowboys invest CeeDee Lamb money into Pickens? That's the question. And that's especially if they don't make the playoffs, that's what you're looking forward to next year.
No, it is a great question. And I think especially if this thing doesn't play off terribly well here in the final 4 games, what if he continues to struggle? What if he continues to show some some ill-advised judgment off the field in the way that he's talking, or something happens in that regard, then they have a really tough decision to make. I think based on largely on what we've seen so far this year, I don't see how you let him get away. I mean, the guy's just a special player, and I know they would be with Cincinnati as the only teams investing this much into two wide receivers, and I'm glad I'm not the one who has to figure out how to make that work. It's Jerry and Steven and all those guys. If you franchise him, again, I'm not sure how Pickens reacts to that either. So I guess in short, my answer would be yes, I'd figure out a way to keep him.
Now, Mike, do you think that the city of Dallas can handle a wide receiver who's really good on the field, but potentially maybe a little bit crazy? I just don't know if the city of Dallas can handle that.
There's no precedent for that. I know. You're referring to Drew Pearson, of course. One of the greatest ever to do it here had his issues. The playmaker, that's for sure. Probably my all-time favorite Cowboy to cover, just because he always kept it interesting. Alvin
and
Harper
Jerry's
had his moments as well.
Yeah.
What's that?
I think Jerry said I can't call it a documentary because having the guy who it's about be in control of what's in it isn't a documentary, but the 90s Cowboys celebration special. I think Jerry also said like Michael Irvin is his favorite player of all time. And I think that becomes really fun when he gets into contract disputes with players and starts referencing things that sound a lot like Michael Irvin. And I'm like, wait a minute, what are we doing here? But I guess Jerry is the best of the best when it comes to figuring out how to get people to keep talking.
Yeah, absolutely. That's his specialty. Are the Cowboys still America's team? I don't know, but they're America's brand, that's for sure. And Jerry's made sure of that. But yeah, you make a good point about that position group, though, in the history of the Cowboys and guys having dynamic personalities, shall we say. Maybe Pickens will be the next one in that line.
So they started 3-5-1, and it looked really, 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 really bad. But with the ascension last week, I guess not included, but you can include it. He's had an incredible year. But with George Pickens, with Quinnen Williams, does this feel like a team that if you could start the season over, I think it's a playoff team. You just didn't have Quinnen Williams for too long. So does that make it pressure on the Cowboys, you think, to keep it together? Does this feel like a contending team to you despite 6-1?
Again, that's a good question. I'm still not sure that this defense is as good as it looked over that 3-game stretch. I still can't figure out if this defense is what we saw in Detroit or it's what we saw in the 3 games preceding the Detroit loss. But I think given the fact you have this quarterback right now, and again, the highest paid player in the history of the league, and a guy who's having maybe his best season ever, to me, that answers the question that you keep the band together as to the extent that you can, and are in obviously a win now type mode. But to your point, I do tend to agree that if you had this cast of characters in place when the season started, you would have a couple of more victories right now, and by definition, that would put you right in the thick of the playoff race. You probably wouldn't have lost a game like the Arizona game. You'd have, maybe you figure out a way to win that Green Bay game instead of tie it, and that puts you in a much better position.
I was going to crash out. I was going to do the George Pickens because he did the one. We go 1-2. 1-2, okay? I don't know if you know the Shaq 1-2, 1-2.
I didn't know if you had anything. Your body language told me that you weren't ready.
But you
went
to 1-1.
Yeah,
you went
right.
1 back to 1, okay? He stole my question. That's when he stole my question. See, it's supposed to go 1-2. And he went, he was selfish. He went to 1-1. He did have back-to-back questions.
I apologize.
See, so Clarence, this is why you never want to have a co-host. That's what I said before they hired Sam. I'm like, I can do this myself, and then they brought her in, and everything went down.
But I'm not going to crash. I'm going to ask you one quick question. If the Cowboys don't make the playoffs, will this be a successful season for Schotty?
No. And we've talked about that on our show, on Free For All. Is there a way for the Cowboys to win enough games, even without going to the playoffs, where it seems like a satisfying season? And I would say no, just because of the year Dak is having. and stay with me here, this is starting to remind me a little bit of the Rangers season, where the Rangers were really good in one area, in this case, where the franchise has never been that good in terms of their starting pitching. I mean, it's the greatest the franchise had ever had, yet somehow they didn't make the playoffs. To me, that would be like the Cowboys getting this kind of season out of Dak and not making the playoffs. Unfortunately for the Cowboys, it's not that much unlike a lot of the seasons they had under Tony Romo, where he would be at or near the top of the NFL passing statistics, but still they would not get into the postseason or wouldn't do anything once they get there. So my answer would be no, it's not a success if they don't get into the playoffs. Now, is it an abject, I'm mincing words here, parsing words, whatever. Is it an abject failure?
Oh, he's sitting on the fence. He's sitting on the fence.
Yeah. Hey, I've made a 30-year career out of it, Jeff. Why change now? But, I think Schottenheimer is going to come out of the season, and Clarence, you're there every news conference. Just the way the guy presents himself, what he's helped this team fight through this year on and off the field, I think that's in general going to leave a good taste in people's mouths. And I'll tell you this about Brian Schottenheimer. As I'm watching Sunday Night Football last night and watching Jason Garrett in that national studio show, and I like Jason. I've known Jason forever. I think he does a good job on TV. But if one thing's going to happen for Schottenheimer, whether he's a good coach or not, he's going to get a hell of a TV gig out of this job, because the guy knows how to talk. He knows how to talk in front of a microphone. And I think in a lot of ways he's done a good job this year. As an offensive coordinator, I think for the most part he's done a really good job as a play caller. But your job is to make the playoffs if you're the head coach of the Cowboys with this roster and this quarterback, I think.
Mike Doocy, Fox 4, free for all. If you want to run a host swap, let me know. I did hear you just took big old shots at Sam Gannon. We'd welcome her on the set, and you could have Clarence. You just let me know off air. We'll see what we can do. Thanks.
The most famous Doocy.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
There goes Mike Doocy. Coming up next, we do have more Cowboys content for you, including some questions from our Diehard. I had to get the Discord pulled up. There'll be Pickens content in there. There'll be defense content in there. Playoff possibilities for your boys. We'll walk you through that. It's all next. We got some new hats, ladies and gentlemen. I know you like hats. I like hats. I just ordered the beige one.
Oh!
Clarence said looks like a Cadillac. I ordered the Cadillac of DLLS hats.
That's it.
But yeah, you can see we got some different color schemes
Cadillac
for
logo.
you. Some of these we got some branded Bills cowboy hats. You know what I'm saying?
Oof.
And that's a good hat. There's no oof. There's no oof.
I don't get to do the oof anymore.
Okay, fine. If you'd like to go to a game, download the Game Time app and use the promo code DLLS. You'll get $20 off your first purchase. What time is it?
Game time.
They get free ads just because Clarence wants to bark. But we want you to sign up to be a diehard. There's a QR code on your screen if you're watching on YouTube. And when you sign up to be a diehard, you get all sorts of greatness. You get the best coverage of all your DFW sports teams all in one place. Ad-free experience on the website. That's nice. The premium content, the chill rights, or Jeff Wilson, or whoever, whichever team,
Ollie's newsletter.
A little Tim Cato action, maybe. Some of that. You get all that when you sign up to be a diehard and you support us, which is nice, and you become part of a wonderful community that we're building over here at DLLS, including our Discord, which is where I'm going to pull some questions for our next segment. I'm calling it the Diehard Dong Around, because you're just donging around reading questions and whatnot, and so that's what I'm going to call it. So yeah, sign up to be a diehard, and when you do that, you also get to pick a free T-shirt from the merch store, maybe the Stay Shiesty shirt. Now George needs you. Before I was saying CD needs you, go ahead and get the 88 Club shirt. George needs you now. Pick the Stay Shiesty shirt if you sign up to be a diehard, and sign up for our newsletter. alldls.com/newsletter, and that is Ali that writes that bad boy, and it provides him job security if you sign up for it, and you'll know everything about all your DFW sports teams in your inbox every morning. It is the DLLS Cowboys podcast. Where are you going, Clarence? You mad at somebody?
No, MD Rowe. We called him Voldemort. Trading away Voldemort at the start of the season. That's Michael Parsons.
He who must not be named.
Almost guaranteed the season with loss. Now, Uncle Jerry's backing into a Quentin Williams, more proof that something's better be lucky than good. I think that has changed the perspective, because once they got rid of Micah, hope we didn't think they were going to have a good season, right?
No,
so,
not without Mike.
So now we're grading everything on the curve because they were so bad.
Yeah.
And now they're better. Now we feel good, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Kinda. I actually
because they didn't have to wait till the trade deadline to get Quinnen Williams.
I think in a round, they might have, just because if you're the Jets, your season's tanked earlier, but you may just be waiting because you're like more than one team is calling, and it's like, what are you gonna give me?
Right.
Okay, well, let me call them, and let me see what's the most that I could get. So maybe you couldn't, but I do think in a roundabout way. Follow me here. The Micah Parsons trade could help you win a Super Bowl. Not because I think you'll win that trade. You won't. And not because it freed up cap space. Don't listen to them lie to you about how the cap works. He wasn't going to stop them from winning anything. He wouldn't have stopped them from trading for Quinnen Williams if they wanted to, et cetera, et cetera. But I think because once they did it, and Jerry sold the bill of goods that not only will we be better later, we'll be better today because Kenny Clark. Once he sold that and it just absolutely blew up in his face, I think in this case, the Jerry Jones ego might work in your favor because they're not an aggressive free agency team. They're not an aggressive trading team. They're a very draft and develop sort of team. But they've let too much talent walk. They haven't drafted enough talent. I think the fact that it blew up on him might make the in his 80s push where he will do what the aggressive teams do and add real players with real signing bonuses to account in a way on the cap that makes them very aggressive the next 2 years because he was wrong about Micah Parsons. He didn't mean to have to trade for 2 D tackles.
Right.
He did it because he's desperate to be right. And it helps your team. So hopefully that makes him move differently for the next 2 to 3 years while Dak's the quarterback, and it's because he's desperate to prove he was right to trade Micah.
And I hope so.
Possible.
And I hope so. Somebody asked about CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb is still in concussion protocol, but it was a Thursday night. He said after the game that he was fine, and we'll see. I anticipate him playing. But the thing about it is that next year is not promised. And I think that's what I talked to the Detroit people about over the weekend is that, they were so excited a couple of years ago that Detroit was the next team. It was going to be their, they were destined to take that next step. Now they're fighting to make the playoffs. It ain't promised. We all thought when Cincinnati got to the Super Bowl, well, yeah, Joe's going to get them there. He's going to get back. Well, we don't know that. And this year is so wide open. This was an opportunity for them to really capitalize on something that they haven't done the last 30 years. And yes, it sounds good that, next year we got Quinnen here. It's going to be, we don't know. We don't know that next year they're going to be able to take all this and take that next step next year, the next 2 years. We hope.
Yeah.
But the time was now.
Yeah, I agree. And I don't like spending too much time on this because I don't feel like it's an interesting topic for most people. But like Rich said, they had no chance to get Quinnen Williams then and keep Micah. At the time that they traded, I'm not sure what you mean by that, but they tried to trade Micah and get Quinnen and draft picks. So they know how good Micah is based on how these trades worked out, right? You got 2 first-round picks when he went with Kenny Clark. And if you mean from a salary cap perspective, Micah Parsons with an extension would have counted less than Kenny Clark this year. So it's just not true. You could absolutely have just gotten Micah's deal done, not gotten mad at him because you felt like he wasn't your bestie when you tried to get around his agent. Just give him the money. And then you could have traded for Quinnen Williams at the trade deadline, and you would have been a better team for the first 9 weeks, and you would have both of them now, and it's absolutely possible. Just like Jerry finally told people, they can absolutely extend George Pickens, keep Kenny Clark at $20 million, have Osa at $20 million, have Quinnen over $20 million. They absolutely can. It's just a matter of how aggressive you want to be with what might happen later. Right. You might end up later with a guy that's not on the roster or not that good, counting money, and the Cowboys don't like to do that. They like to be very fiscally responsible. We need them to snap out of it. We got some people in the Diehard DLLS Discord. Jackie asked a question. How will the defense shift with Trayvon coming back. Well, isn't that kind of what we've been talking about with Flus?
Yeah.
They'll tell him to run a bunch of zone, and he'll look lost, and then when they cut him in the offseason, his most recent tape will be bad tape, and it'll cost him money because they're just going to do what they do. Or, I don't know. I mean, that was a bad enough performance. They've had 2 weeks this season where they ran a decent amount of man, a 44-22 win over the Commanders and the win over the Chiefs. They ran a decent amount of man coverage, and they got pretty good results. Maybe he'll look at having Trayvon Diggs and Savone Revel and say our best thing is run man. I don't know. Do you buy it, Clarence? Can Flus be different?
I don't think he can because, we thought he was changing early in the season. He reverted back. He reverted back against Detroit. That was disappointing.
Yeah, that's not good. That's not good. Like it's like the guy who they're trying to roll in and that they think is really good, Savone Revel, it's the worst for him out of everyone. He's the guy who's done this the least.
Right.
And it's the guy that you're kind of pinning some hopes on, and you're setting him up to fail, which is just a real weird plan. And hopefully Eberflus can just start playing some man coverage. That sure would be nice. Knight is in the Discord. He's a diehard, and he said, did Pickens cost himself a big contract last game?
And again, we didn't say this. This is someone else saying this, and they act like we're doing this, but that is
a question.
It's a natural question.
It's a question.
It is a natural question. And that's the problem. That's, the big question when it comes out, because he was being a good boy. And the dirty little secret, again, another dirty little secret is Quinn has missed a lot of meetings. Not Quinn, I'm sorry. Pickens has missed a lot of meetings.
Oh.
Okay? Pickens has missed a lot of meetings. Pickens been fined a lot by the Cowboys throughout this season. He missed the bus. They excused all of that because he was playing well.
Except for the Vegas thing that they made him sit out for a second.
Again, they
for a drive.
excused all of that. It was all ha-ha fun and games. It's all ha-ha fun and games till it's sign a big money contract.
We've had Dez before.
Play
that well, and it's all good.
And did you see the contract negotiation when Dez was mad and all of that stuff? It's all fun and games till the sign on the dotted line.
Oh, do you guys know why Dez got mad? Because Jerry tried to go around his agent.
Just
shocking.
So it's all fun and games till it's time to sign the contract. One thing I said is interesting to me. It's interesting to me.
It better be.
When the Michael thing, I said, the Jerry wanted Michael to be his Michael, okay? He wanted that relationship. He wanted Michael to be his Michael, and that's what hurt him.
Oh, is that why he calls him Michael?
Yes.
Michael
But he
Parson?
wanted Michael to be his Michael, and that bond and all of that stuff. Maybe Pickens could be his Michael. He's the demon seed like Michael. Maybe he can be his Michael.
He could be.
Huh?
He could be. I can't wait. It's not fun, but it's funny because you see it coming a mile away. The drama this offseason when they try to negotiate a contract is going to be so good for headlines.
Oh, yeah.
Because Jerry's going to start in a roundabout way picking him apart in the media. I don't know
when I pay you that kind of money, you got to show up.
I don't know who's going to write
leadership.
the article for him anymore that's going to tear down the player because we had a retirement in that field. But it is absolutely going to happen. And we got Manley in the Discord who said the crappy special teams has kind of been lost and how bad the defense is and how great Butter is. Do you think special teams coordinator Nick Sorensen will be replaced this offseason? And he was asking also who hired him because
that's a Schotty move. That's a Schotty's buddy.
Okay.
Sorensen's a Schotty buddy. Again, failed defense coordinator, failed special teams coach, but he has a relationship with Schotty from their days together in Seattle.
So now we're hiring friends of friends.
Oh, yeah.
Like Jerry hired Schotty as the head coach because he'd take a cheap contract and they liked him. And then he hired the D coordinator because he knows him and he likes him. And then he let the head coach who he knows and likes hire a guy that he knows and likes.
Most definitely. I mean, what has Sorensen ever done?
I don't know. I have no idea. He was a bad D coordinator for a minute, right?
Yeah. And he wasn't a special teams coach either when he was that before. So, I mean, and he's come here and the special teams, the coverage has been worse. The return, whatever whatever Turpin is doing is worse.
Did you see Turpin get mad at Jesse?
Yeah, I saw Turpin get mad at Jesse.
Turpin got mad at Jesse Holley on the internet.
Jesse didn't show up because he was scared of Turpin.
No, that's not what happened. This was a planned and excused absence today.
Turpin was on his butt.
But I do enjoy how often Cowboy players go after you or Jesse on the internet. It's a lot of fun for me. Make sure you don't mess with them too much. Thanks for stopping by, everybody. We didn't get to 176 likes, but if you could hit it on the way out, we sure would appreciate it. And we'll see you again tomorrow. Remember, you have no idea what anyone's going through. Be cool to everybody. We love you. Be easy.
Micah Parsons sucks.
We all silly like the mayor.